Chelsea have had the season from hell, finishing in the lower half of the table for the first time since Abramovich took over. 12th spot with no European football and spending over £500 million in January. Now Todd Bowley has booted Lampard out of Stamford Bridge for the second time and has snatched up Mauricio Pochettino. From rock bottom to securing Poch on a 2-year contract, the Argentine mastermind who's famous for taking Spurs to a Champions League final and won the We Put Pressure On trophy in the Prem with ambitions of transforming the club into a long-term project. He has a massive job on his hands to develop and sign new players and to bring Chelsea back into the top 6. Pressure is coming from all directions, the board, the fans, the media, to achieve sustainable success whilst entering a new era. There is only one man for the job. He's got a positive track record in the Prem. Let's just forget what happened at PSG. Forget the realistic rebuild we did a couple months back. We're running it back, linking up with Poch and making things right here at Stamford Bridge. Now, thanks to this realism mod FIFA 24 update we have installed, we have all the brand new kits for all the Premier League teams, even new kits for some of the biggest teams in Europe, and some of the newly confirmed transfers like our boy N'Golo Kante at Al Ittihad. He's linking up with Benzema in Saudi Arabia, a new one just confirmed, Jude Bellingham to Real Madrid, Tielemans on a free to Aston Villa, McAllister to Liverpool, etc, etc. We also have realistic contracts like Joao Felix will be headed back to Atletico Madrid. His loan spell is expiring, and then the 8-year contracts of Enzo Fernandez and Mudryk. All the long-term contracts and loopholes they had to jump through in January signing all those players, 6-year, 7-year contracts, you name it. And it also adds a feature that probably should already be in FIFA, choosing your start date in career mode, and this mod allows us to start in the brand new season. We're in July 2023. The 23-24 season is upon us. We have the likes of Burnley, Luton, and of course Sheffield United all promoted to the Prem. It's going to be a summer of player turnover, ins and outs happening galore as we have a hefty transfer list. The chopping block is looking pretty chunky right now. All players that are linked with moves away from Stamford Bridge will be selling for some big bucks, as we only have £82 million in the bank, which for Chelsea standards isn't that much. A full first team roster of 42 players. Now the first things first order of business, we've got to go ahead and complete a signing that was already made official a couple of months back. It was before Poch was even named the manager. Back in late December, early January, it's Christopher Nkunku arriving from RB Leipzig. He's had a come-up story of the ages, from the PSG Youth Academy being rejected by the Parisians, and now he claims that number 10 jersey at Stamford Bridge. He is going to be a game changer for us, and not just in FIFA, in real life. I think he's an actual baller. One of my favourite players currently IRL, as we agreed a deal of his market value, £67 million on the dot. The versatility on this kid is absolutely sensational. Can play anywhere centrally, centre forward, striker, cam, and the defensive department is always something that can be improved. It's an aging backline in this Chelsea team, and we're looking for a utility backup option. It's actually a player that's not linked to Chelsea in real life, but due to his outstanding form at RC Lens, qualifying them for the Champions League over in France, Facundo Medina, the Argentine centre-half, will be joining us in a swap deal for the ex-Chelsea captain on the out, Azpilicueta. No fees involved in this one, just a straight-out swap, and he's going to provide some perfect cover for our 5-man defense. Oh, look at this. We've been able to swindle £52.5 million out of Pep Guardiola for the services of boy on the out, Mason Mount. Another centre mid who is bound to Manchester City is Mateo Kovacic. They made sure to pursue the kid before the Champions League final so they could have that good luck Croatian charm on their side, and considering Mateo is linked away with a move, he's pretty much on the departure, we're going to include him in a swap deal with a proper CDM replacement. He also acts as a replacement for Kante. It's the Algerian Ismail Benacer. He arrives from AC Milan. We do have a little bit of cash involved, £2 million, plus the Croatian headed the other way to the San Siro. It's absolutely criminal that he doesn't have a game face scan, but he could definitely be the future. Him alongside Enzo Fernandez in the middle of the park will be a partnership for the ages. There we go, the Mason Mount deal is official. We can confirm it. He is headed off to the blue side of Manchester, even though he's more heavily linked towards United in real life. Lampard's favourite son Mason has seen better days, and we also have Armando Broja headed off to Juventus on a 1-year loan deal. Also in the mix, we just got a flurry of players out the door. Callum Hudson-Odoi will join at United on a 12-month deal, and some more loan spells to report on. It's just a classic Chelsea transfer window, chaotic, unhinged, and unpredictable, as we have David Datro Fofana joining Salernitana. Mauricio is in his flow state. Poch just knows how to get the deals done off the pitch, and these two signings are mimicking what's going on in real life right now. Gabri Veiga, we decided to activate his release clause for £10.9 million. The promising Spanish midfielder from Celta Vigo, it's chump change really. He has been heavily courted by Chelsea in the transfer market, and he could be bound for a Premier League move this summer, as that's one of our cheapest buys to date. Aubameyang, Lukaku, they're both past it. They're both washed in the mud. Not good enough to start for Chelsea, and that's why this club is desperate for a brand new striker. Instead of paying the big bucks and going all out for Oshiman, they've decided to go through that hidden gem route and pursue Jackson. Honestly, a player I'd never heard of before. Nicholas arrives for £14 million from the Yellow Submarine. Villarreal just out here producing another gem again, as the Senegalese 22-year-old who has two first names, and you all know in life you can never trust someone with two first names. Nevertheless, the 6'1" African picks up the number 18 and hopes to be as successful as Didier Drogba. The Todd Bowley Chelsea selling spree continues, as Raheem the Dream, he was a one-season wonder here at Stamford Bridge, and the Three Lions international, we've sold him back to his former club Manchester City, swindling them out of £56.8 million. He returns back to the Etihad, and it becomes our biggest summer sale so far. Him and Mason Mount, two English homegrown favourites to part in the team. Now, he's been in the crosshairs of many top English clubs in January and this upcoming summer. Now the tables have turned. Fabrizio Romano, Sky Sport and the like are reporting that the Ecuadorian Moises Caicedo is a top target for Poch at Chelsea. Just recently developing news to boot, as Declan Rice is headed in towards the Arsenal direction, and of course Mauricio is looking at a Kante replacement. We've already got that in Benacer, so the South American will just be a little backup CDM, just being a general rock in midfield. He's got that Ramirez vibe about him. We managed to agree a deal under his value, £21 million for the new number 8, which is just an absolute bargain. It was a part of that famous bunch of £600 million January signings. It's the French right back Gusto. He arrives back from his loan spell at Olympique Lyon, and now he's departing out the club again on a 2-year loan deal, this time to Girona over in Spain. For at least 2 seasons, he won't be playing second fiddle to Reece James, and will actually be getting some game time. Another one bites the dust. It is a high-profile transfer out. We're selling off these wingers like it's going out of fashion. Hakim Ziyech, the Moroccan marvel who arrived in the Premier League with a lot of promise, a lot of hype about him, but he just wasn't able to replicate that golden Ajax form. Picked up way too many injuries, and the competition was too tough for him at the club. So we've negotiated and gotten a hefty £36.9 million out of RB Leipzig. The loan outage bonanza continues. It's just the Chelsea way, really, as Tino and Jordan, he now ventures out to Italy, joining Genoa on a 12-month deal. One window, 2 Sterlings are leaving Chelsea, and this time it's Dujon Sterling, again out on loan. He'll be off to Vélez Sarsfield in Argentina for a 2-year loan deal. Obama who? Obama what? Obama Bloodclot Young is finally leaving the club. Been lingering on the transfer list for quite some time, and we found suitors for him, a fellow Premier League club, Aston Villa, for £20.8 million. He's literally the definition of past it. He should have never left Arsenal, in my opinion. Now, this man has been a victim to the Chelsea loan-out system over the years. He's just one of the many wonder kids that have been put through the ringer, and it's Ruben Loftus-Cheek, their academy product. He finally says goodbye to London for good, joining Valencia over in Spain for £14.2 million. Now, a player in real life that is being targeted by Brighton, they will actually want to make this loan deal permanent. It's the English centre-back. I'm not quite sure what Pochettino's plans for him are, but he's part of the future first-team project, Levi Colwill. And the hot prospect Jamaican cam, Amari Hutchinson, is actually off to the MLS, joining Nashville on a 2-year deal. We've reached the last hour of deadline day, and I'll keep it real with you guys. We have barely scratched the surface. We're left with over £115 million left in the transfer kitty, and the possibilities here are literally endless. However, just to keep it realistic, we'll hold off, we'll wait, we'll save some for season 2. Next summer is where we go wild. But for now, here is our first team starting 11. A couple of players on the transfer list ready to be sold have made the first team. No offers came through for the likes of Koulibaly, who is heavily linked with Inter in real life, Pulisic, who's probably on the out, and Kai Havertz, who both both Real Madrid and Arsenal are interested in. An honest and realistic goal would be looking to get Chelsea back into the top half of the table, European spots preferably. Now enough with the talk, let's get simulating. Now I set our expectations low. Look, the bar was in hell just to finish in the top half of the table, and that's exactly what we did, exceeding our expectations and goals, finishing in 5th spot with 85 points, just lingering outside the top 4 by 1 point. It came down to the slimmest of margins, just like the title races. Man City beat out Liverpool with 91 points. Pochettino's Blues qualified for Europa League football, and it just wasn't meant to be, as Nottingham Forest, Luton and Brentford all get relegated. I'm not sure if no Champions League would be a failure for the Argentine mastermind, but at least there's a little bit of a silver lining to take out of this season, as we were successful in the FA Cup with a 3-1 win in the big dance against United. However, the FA Cup was where it ended, with the Carabao run getting cut short in the round 4, losing 2-1 to Newcastle. This has actually surprised me the most. In our transition era, we have landed in the Champions League semi-finals, a pretty deep run, only losing out to Atletico in the semis in an away leg disaster class, but these Chelsea boys ended up topping the group. The project is nowhere near finished, and we were one step away from a major European final. We managed to cut our roster size down to 40, give or take, the main protagonist for season 1, and our top goal scorer was indeed that man, Christopher Nkunku. He is dead set a cheat code in career mode. Mark my words, he is going to ball out in the Premier League this season with double figures in both departments, 25 goals and 21 assists for the playmaker centre forward. A +4 upgraded to a 90, the Frenchman is absolutely world class. 46 goal contributions, there's nothing much I can really say about the lad, but Noni Madueke had an extremely breakout campaign with 19 goals and 4 on the right hand side. Kai Havertz, which we successfully converted to a left winger, I know he is set to depart Chelsea in real life, or at least Poch is open to giving him the boot. 16 goals and 8 assists is some brilliant return, as even Mudrik's production was sensational. And Reece James from right wing back, he loves getting involved in the attack, bombing up the right hand side with 7 goals and 18 assists. Some remarkable growth to revel at. Pochettino is getting the most out of these players, +3s and +4s all over the board. The main marquee, can't say replacement in midfield, Ismail Benacer, kind of had a season to forget, only 1 goal and 2 assists for the Algerian, and there doesn't seem to be any players exposed to the loan deal glitch. Our biggest grower out on loan is Hutchinson over in the MLS with a +5. I know the goalkeeping situation at Chelsea is a little bit precarious, however Kepa was the main shot stopper with 36 appearances, 15 clean sheets. Eduard Mendy in real life looks towards being on the outs. We're not renewing Ethan Impadu's contract, so we'll be losing him on a free, as we've ended up with over £115 million left in the transfer budget, and that's going all towards next summer's transfer spend. They're back in the Big Six conversation, leaving that banter club era, and also capped off the season with an FA Cup, a piece of silverware. Not many clubs can say that. Boy, Pochettino is getting them back on the right track, back in the top half of the table where they deserve to be, where they belong. And in season 2, it's the man's mission to make London blue, as Todd Bowley and the board have gifted us with a transfer budget of only 71 million. Are you kidding me? All those hundreds of millions that we saved up, like, where did that go? We got less of a transfer budget than season 1. I don't know what to tell you, mate. Poch, I think we've been sold a dream. Now, our first piece of business for season 2's transfer market is to sort out our aging defense. With the likes of Thiago Silva pushing 40, Koulibaly on the transfer list, we need a brand new leader, and first choice on Mauricio Pochettino's shopping list was Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace. He's Premier League proven, a homegrown centre half, and he's just the perfect fit for that 5-man backline. A new potential captain with a £35 million fee agreed. He's got a big mission to fill in the boots of Thiago Silva and Koulibaly, but it is what it is. It's his time. Thanks to our limited transfer budget, we've had to get rid of a few players, and luckily we have a few prized assets to sell off and cash in on, and that includes Captain America himself, Christian Pulisic. I know we're going to lose a lot of that American fan base and all those shirt sales in the USA, but it had to be done as Aston Villa came through the villains with a £56.6 million fee. We agreed on that price and gave it the green light as he links up with Aubameyang at Villa Park. It's another aging veteran that Poch has to walk out the Chelsea headquarters. He's been on the transfer list for quite some time now. Bakayoko, the writing was on the wall. He saw this coming as we ship him out to Crystal Palace for £7.8 million. It's been a crazy start to the opening market, but some more departures are coming into fruition here here with Callum Hudson-Odoi, who is returning out on loan. We'll be sending off the young Englishman to West Ham, and he'll be out at the London Stadium for 2 years. And another cheeky loan deal taking place is going to be Gabri Veiga, the Spanish midfielder. Promising prospect. However, just can't find space and get any game time here, so he's returning to the homeland. Getafe will pick him up on a 2-year loan spell. And would you look at this, that beautiful big bold head is finally leaving Chelsea on a permanent basis. Romelu Lukaku, the Belgian beast, exits Stamford Bridge, and it's taken a while, but Manchester City, they have taken 3 of our players now, Mount, Sterling, and now Lukaku, as Pep Guardiola was willing to pay £38 million for the aging Belgian services. It just doesn't make any sense, but in career mode, anything is possible. Now, I tried offering up Edouard Mendy, an African for an African type beat, but Inter weren't having any of it. Nevertheless, there are heavy rumours around Andre Onana swirling around the Premier League, and it's potentially Man United, potentially Chelsea, who knows at this point, but all signs point to Mendy departing the club, and that's why we're getting in a quality replacement for him, potentially even can overtake Kepa, as Inter were keen on taking the Albanian Armando Broja in a swap deal, plus £8.3 million. That's a no-brainer in my book. Sign the papers, get him ready, as there is a brand new Senegalese shot stopper in town. We've been selling way too many players for my liking. It's time to bring in some superstars, because we've got that kind of pull. Chelsea are a big club, and they're aiming to be back in that European elite, and big boy Poch has dragged over the Georgian sensation from Napoli, Krivicka Kvaratskhelia. I've never actually signed him this year in career mode. He's just really come out of nowhere and has won the Scudetto for Napoli, and we've actually got his game face mod installed in game, so it was even bigger reason to get him on the books. And we agreed to deal with the Italian champions. £74.9 million was the fee, and we capture Kvaradonna's services, the brand new number 9. He seems down to break the Chelsea number 9 curse, and he has that special something. In an alternate universe where you'd remove the crosses from that Georgia flag, we probably would have had to shell up £500 million. We still have a jam-packed chopping block, and Juve actually came in with a deal for Kai Havertz, but weren't willing to pay the full fee. I didn't want any of their player swaps. I just wanted to sell him outright, as this is our strongest first team starting 11. Kvaradonna takes the starting left wing spot over Havertz, and Guehi inserts himself into that back 3. Nonetheless, we've been able to sell Thiago Silva on a last minute deal to fellow rival Spurs for £14.3 million. He'll be making the move official come January, as we are left with about £3 million left in the bank. So let's get season 2 underway and put the word out there that we are back up. Hear me out. Look, the January transfer window wasn't as productive as I hoped, but we did manage to secure some minor deals away, like Trevor Chalobah. He's off to United on a loan spell. Tino and Joran, the English right winger, joins Crystal Palace on a short-term loan deal, and we lose Edouard Mendy, the Senegalese shot stopper, on a free to West Ham. Meanwhile, the Koulibaly saga continues. How many offers do we have to accept before he actually gets sold? And the aging defender refuses to get off our wage bill. Other than that, I think our team is fully ready and equipped to take on the second half of season 2, so here we go. All it took was 2 seasons of grinding for the Poch project at Chelsea to take over, and just like the glory days in the 2010s, Chelsea are your English champions. Knocking Manchester City off their perch and denying them the opportunity of going 5 in a row. The Blues went the entire season with only 1 loss, 95 points, and a 7-point gap on runners-up. They've reclaimed their spot on top, and for the first time since 2017 are Premier League winners. And towards the bottom end of the table, it is Leicester City, Norwich, and Stoke City all going back down to the Championship. We ended up getting the last laugh, but to launch our season off, we lost out the Community Shield to Man City on penalties 4-3, and Man City went on to do the domestic treble without the Premier League though, as they went on to win the Carabao and FA Cup. We failed at defending our cup crown, being eliminated in round 5 to Nottingham Forest on pens 5-4, and Man City pretty much got the better over us in every single competition, but the Prem was where it really mattered. And whilst all that was going on in the background, we had Europa League football to play, and we won pretty much every single game, 18 points on top of the group, surpassing Ghent in the round of 16, beating out Frankfurt 5-2 in the quarters, and then fumbling in the semis against Leverkusen. It was yet another European competition where we bowed out in the semi-finals and was just 1 win away, as Europa League specialist Sevilla take home yet another one of these trophies. Antonio Conte was the last manager to achieve it at the club, and now Mauricio Pochettino, he didn't even get close moves at Tottenham besides the 15-16 season. Nevertheless, let's take a look at our best performers, and of course Chris Nkunku is topping the charts again. You just start to run out of words for players like this. Just an all-around baller, the French superstar with 27 goals and 22 assists, 49 goal contributions in 55 appearances. Yes, he is single-handedly carrying this team alongside his attacking front trident. Noni Madueke with 16 goals and 7, and Kai Havertz still at the club. As much as we've tried to force him out of the first team, no clubs have put in really serious bids for him. So the German is on his redemption arc on the left-hand side, 12 goals and 23 assists. Conor Gallagher is now starting to show himself worthy with 11 goals and 9. Kvaratskelia's debut campaign, he had to compete with Havertz on the left, 10 goals and 5 assists for the Georgian. As Nicholas Jackson in our second team, in and off the bench, the Senegalese striker with 10 goals. Hudson-Odoi impressed out on loan, and Ismail Benacer definitely had an improved second campaign for Chelsea. Mudryk being a third choice left winger with 6 goals and 5 assists, and Chucky we actually converted into a centre forward. So in case of emergency, he is a go-to super sub, and Enzo Fernandez just bossing it in the middle of the park with 4 goals and 13 assists. And look at all of our lads out on loan, a flurry of players ready to come back, and a huge batch will be joining us come season 3 of the rebuild, as Kepa was the main goalkeeper despite having a -1 downgrade. His season and his stats painted a different picture with 21 clean sheets over Andre Onana. Edouard Mendy is falling into the pits of irrelevancy, as our highest valued asset at the club is of course Nkunku with a market value of 92 million. But keep this in mind, London is blue, Champions League football returns to the bridge. Technically, we weren't supposed to have the UCL in season 1, just forget that ever happened. Poch has brought the club back into the top 4, back winning trophies, back being successful. He's got the fans and the media on board, and now the sky's the limit. Season 3 has dawned upon us, and in terms of our transfer budget, 43 million? Nah, this is just beyond a joke now. Like, I thought we were supposed to be getting more now that we're actually being successful. But no, our finances have been diminishing every single year. What is going on? I'm just as confused as you, Mauricio. We've negotiated, willed and dealed our squad roster down to 34, so it's reasonable, it's respectable. Now it's time to see what we can pull off in this window with a crazy restricted budget. Guys, listen, hear me out on this one. We've had to pull off something ludicrous to convince Napoli to sell Victor Osimhen for £5 million in the swap deal of the century. Yes, we've got his face scan mod in-game, and it was another major pro to why I wanted to sign him. Considering no club was bidding in and putting in reasonable offers for Kai Havertz, I decided to include him in the deal plus £5 million in order to convince Napoli and the Nigerian, who has been talks to a link with the Premier League for so long now. It's just destined to happen really, and 3 years deep into this rebuild, we are finding Nkunku the perfect partner up top. We've been shafted, we have barely been gifted with a transfer budget, so we've had to be proactive about it, to find new ways to attract talent to the club this summer, to get the fans excited, and to really make a statement in this window. We've made it official, in his prime, Osimhen lands at Stamford Bridge. And in other minor transfer news, David Datro Fofana will join at Frankfurt on a 2-year loan deal. And factoring in the huge loss that was Kai Havertz, I know we've been trying to get rid of him, but he's been an integral part of this team for the last couple of seasons. We had to be hot on our heels for not just a replacement, but for a backup player that can play on either side of the flank. We're feeling a little bit thin on the attacking front with all those sales now. We have the perfect player to bring in. It's a fellow Argentine. Poch has got that South American pull about him, as we'd agreed a deal with FC Twente for Ezequiel Ceballos. It was a player plus cash deal. We included Andjoran in the offer, plus £24.9 million. And let me tell you, the kid's versatile. He can play on either side of the wing. He's dynamic. He's got a game face scan. He's 5'9", and it's still only 23. We've pretty much wrapped up our summer business on the purchases front, but there are plenty of operations going down and behind the scenes in the background, just like Chucky headed out on a 2-year loan deal. He'll be joining Frankfurt over in Germany, just like Fofana, and a couple of other ones going down, like Amari Hutchinson, the Jamaican, will be departing to Grêmio out in Brazil, and another 2-year loan deal. It's Ian Matson out at Barcelona, thanks to only £16 million being left in our budget. Yeah, in today's economy, with inflation and the rest, that buys you nothing. I got excited for a second. I actually jumped out of my seat. I got goosebumps as I thought Koulibaly was being sold, but no, we've crafted another loan deal out to West Ham, as Levi Colwill will join the Hammers for a 1-year spell. Oh, this is the moment though. This is it. Yes, finally. The Koulibaly rants are no more. You don't have to hear me bagging on about how we can't sell him. It's taken about 10 negotiation deals later, broken down transfer talks. I think he's actually going to Inter in real life. They were in the race. They were one of the candidates in this career mode, but, you know, Newcastle beat them to the punch, and the Magpies will pick up the experienced veteran Senegalese defender. I just feel an enormous weight being lifted off my shoulders. We're going to keep the rest of our remaining resources to renew player contracts and whatnot, as the Blues are back in Europe. The Champions League have come calling, and they've been drawn into Group C. Been gifted a pretty handy draw there with Inter, Nice, and Lokomotiv Zagreb. They should have no troubles getting out of the group, as here is our first team starting 11. We've changed up the formation, adjusted the system for this dynamic 4-2-4 formation, incorporating Osimhen up top with the injured Nkunku. So we have some exciting, strong options in and off the bench. This team can be a real challenger if they stay healthy. Poch has taken this club from crisis mode back to competing on the biggest of stages. So let's dive into everything Season 3 has in store for us. We're living in a multiverse where Chelsea go back-to-back champions and finish with 99 points, only cop a one loss all season, and successfully defend their Premier League crown. To fight off some hefty competition though, Man City and Liverpool were hot on their tails, but they were 1 point away from a Centurion season. And 2 out of 3 campaigns, Pochettino has come away with the Premier League trophy. And towards the bottom end of the table, it is Brighton, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace all facing the drop. Not only that, we launched our season in perfect style, getting revenge over Man City in the Community Shield with a 3-2 win. However, no luck over in the FA Cup as Manchester United beat out Liverpool in the final. Our boys were knocked out in round 4 again to United 2-0. No domestic treble was on the cards as Man City destroyed Norwich in the final of the Carabao, and the Chelsea boys faced elimination over in the quarters 2-1 to Liverpool. It was a blissful return to the Champions League, and they set out to top the group. That's exactly what they did here in Group C, finishing perfectly with 18 points. And after a pretty much flawless group stage, they were knocked out shockingly to RB Salzburg in the round of 16, dropped straight back down to earth with a 4-3 aggregate loss to the Austrian outfit. Then it was PSG to go on and win the Holy Grail 2-1 against Bayern. They've set the standard. They're the team to beat as our boys go crashing out. I'm sure all Chelsea fans will get a chuckle, get a good laugh out of Arsenal losing the Conference League final to Ghent. Yeah, there are levels to this game, and Chelsea right now are currently operating at the highest of levels. Pochettino's 33-man roster set out to achieve glory, and that's exactly what they did here, with our top goal scorer being the Englishman Noni Madueke with 30 goals and 8 assists from the right-hand side. The 24-year-old really coming into his own this season with 38 goal contributions, which is just simply stunning, and 2 players getting double figures in both departments. It's Kvaradonna himself and our boy Mr. Reliable Chris Nkunku with 23 assists and 19 goals. The Frenchman in his prime is producing prime numbers, and the Georgian sensation managed to flourish without Kai Havertz holding him down, and it was no mask, no worries for Victor Osimhen in his first season in England with 18 goals and 1 assist. The OG Napoli duo running it back, and another surprise package in and off the bench, Nicholas Jackson, who he signed over in Season 1. He's just been chugging away in the background, the Senegalese striker with 11 goals and 2 assists off the bench. Reece James, he's always up there, 7 goals and 18 assists for the captain. Hudson-Odoi is putting up some noteworthy numbers at the London Stadium, and Enzo Fernandez has probably had one of his best seasons yet, being the second best playmaker in the side, the Argentine. New boy Ceballos actually made an impact with 4 goals and 5 assists in limited game time. Now we can officially call him the main shot stopper in between the sticks. Onana has claimed the #1 spot for his own with 22 clean sheets, and a couple of our talents really progressing out on their loan spells, like Ian Matson at Barcelona with a chunky +4. That came out of left field. I wasn't really expecting that, as Chucky grew a cheeky +3, and the likes of Gabri Veiga and Trevor Chalobah will return for their loan spells come Season 4. And we have a new king on top of the financial sector. It's Victor Osimhen now with a price tag of £92 million. He is leading the charge. Poch is on a hot streak. Every single season he's managed so far, he's been able to take home a trophy. That'll be a dream for Chelsea. He's won a domestic cup, he's won the Prem, and now it's time to let the intrusive thoughts win and pull no punches come Season 4. I forgot to cover in that end of season wrap up that we did manage to settle on a fee for Dujon Sterling. He'll now be departing the club on a permanent basis to Brighton. He'll be joining the championship bound Seagulls for 11.7 million. Now I've just lost all faith in the board and our transfer budget being anything of note this season. We'll be lucky if we have 5p left in there, but okay, £46 million. Technically it's more than last time out. I just don't get their logic. Back-to-back back-to-back Premier League champions, and this is the kind of money we're greeted with. It's a miracle how we've even gotten this far in the first place, as most of our first team is out on international duty for the World Cup. Now, our only prerogative for Season 4 was to somehow spend this £40 million we've been handed. I don't want it to sit there and go to waste, because it doesn't really carry over to the next season. The board just take it all for themselves, so we've gone out in search for a fourth choice striker, emergency use only. Just a completely inoffensive buy that probably isn't going to have too much of an impact on the rebuild, but I thought it'd be a nice addition to the squad, as Poch is there standing next to Noah Okafor, the Swiss striker from RB Salzburg, the team that knocked us out of the Champions League early last time out, getting a deal for under his value, £30 million on the dot. He's a proven goal scorer in Europe, he grabs the number 13 shirt, and it's well and truly overdue for a move to a top 5 league. It'll go down as the quietest Chelsea transfer period of all time, as that Okafor deal is the only buy taking place. And now we can fully focus on the season ahead, the challenges up against us, and the return of the Champions League. The boys have been drawn into Group G alongside Atletico Madrid, Benfica, and Victoria Plzen. I'll take that as they got the season off to the perfect start with a cheeky Community Shield win against United 3-2 at Wembley. And here's your look at our strongest team on paper. Poch has chosen 11, and that quality and depth is there. Look at those two team sheets. The backup brigade is in fine shape, and our attack looks absolutely lethal. That front four is going to give defenses across the world nightmares. Setting the bar high, we want to go further than the round of 16 in the Champions League, otherwise this season will be considered a failure. Did someone say three-peat? That's right, the boys have only gone and done it. 3 in a row, Premier League champions. Did they really have to go that hard? 91 points, beating out the competition of Liverpool and Man City, but what a run out it's been. Domestically, Poch's Chelsea have just been formidable. I guess the Argentine mastermind has beaten the "you've never won anything" allegations, as Southampton, Norwich, and Sheffield United are all in the bottom 3. We're already checked in on the Community Shield, and over in the FA Cup, it was Man City to win 2-0 against Liverpool, and we got knocked out to the eventual finalists 3-2. That saw the Carabao Cup, the one domestic piece of silverware that we hadn't claimed yet, and there you go, 4-2 win in the final against Liverpool. You love to see it. And now the Champions League. We've gone back-to-back being flawless in the group stages, 18 points, 6 wins. We've been cooking up a 5-course meal over in Europe, as we've defeated Roma 5-3 on aggregate in the round of 16. Then we eliminated Manchester United in an all-English affair. That ended 4-1. And up against Man City, we came up against both Manchester clubs. It's basically pretty much extra Premier League games, 5-2. And then Liverpool won 6-5 on aggregate against Barcelona to set up an all-English final, just like 2021. Except this time, it's Chelsea versus Liverpool. Blue versus red, and the only non-English opposition we've been up against is Roma in the round of 16. I don't know how to feel about that journey to the final, but we've done it nonetheless. You've just got to beat who's in front of you, and that's exactly what this team have done. 33 Chelsea Warriors. They're ready to go out to battle tonight, but we've got to take one last look at them. As our top goal scorer this season was Chris Nkunku. He is just that guy. He is him. I got no other things left to say about him, but 40 goal contributions in 52 appearances. He's a certified Chelsea legend. Meanwhile, it's Victor the Inflictor himself coming through second with 23 goals. The Nigerian entering the 90s with 25 goal contributions, and there were 3 players to have double figures in both categories. The trio included Madueke, Kvaradona, and Enzo Fernandez. It helps when your starboy centre midfielder has had the best season to date. He has revelled under Pochettino's guidance, 14 goals and 21 assists. Meanwhile, 21 goals and 11 assists for the Georgian on the left. And Noni Madueke has been cooking ever since season 1. He's been a steady grower, putting in that work, putting in grind behind the scenes. And Ezequiel Ceballos, again, he's been a productive and efficient winger in and off the bench, and Mudryk even still getting a chance. Meanwhile, the only signing and new boy this season, Noah Okafor with 9 goals, and Reece James, would you look at that? What? 34 assists for a right back. I've never seen anything like it in my time. The club captain absolutely strutting his stuff with 37 goal contributions in total. He is in his prime, whipping up numbers like that, as Ismail Benacer partnered up with Enzo, 2 goals and 10 assists for the Algerian. Wesley Fofana became one of the main pillars of our defense alongside Badiashile. As we come across some of our boys out on loan this season, we'll scroll all the way down to the goalkeeping position, and Andre Onana managed to keep 22 clean sheets, and our most valuable asset on the transfer market. No player, again, another rebuild. I think that's 2 in a row. No one has been valued over £100 million. That's rare in a BCHD rebuild, might I add, with Oshiman being our highest valued asset at 87 million on the dot. Now it all comes down to this. We're good to go. It's an elite Premier League matchup and it's all going down at Wembley Stadium for this Champions League blockbuster clash. It's our first choice starting 11 tonight, going out to battle minus Badiashile, who's picked up a red card. But other than that, no injuries, no suspensions. That's how Liverpool potentially lining up. It's Klopp versus Poch about to go down. Now after that disaster of a season under Graham Potter and Lampard, it's back to the drawing board for the Blues in 2023. I don't know how long it's going to take Poch to actually get the club back to a Champions League final like this. But digitally, virtually, it's only taken him 4 seasons in FIFA career mode. And now it's their time to shine on home soil in their home city. They're repping that stunning away kit they got for next season. It gets the BCHD tick of approval as we're going to kick off tonight. Osimhen will get us underway. Let's get it.
He tried it.
Nkunku. He has a family, mate. Leave him alone. Diogo Jota finds Darwin Núñez on the left, and all of a sudden our team have gone to sleep. Destroys the ankles of his defender, and the Georgian is looking lively early on. Ball over the top to Osimhen, who went for the spectacular. And Alisson just had to get a tip away to save it. Madueke on the corner. The left footer looking to swing this one in. Early set piece opportunity, and Nkunku smashes the side netting. And he's got a dangerous left foot. He wants to use it. We'll try again with Reece James and see what's on. No, Reece James, he goes down injured. What are you kidding me? First 10 minutes of the game and our defense is left exposed. Darwin Núñez with a couple of step overs fools our Ben at the back, and Onana with a spectacular save to deny Diogo Jota. Enzo Fernandez back inside. It's Nkunku who sees the runner Madueke, and on the right he can use his dangerous left peg, and what a delivery it was. Cavaradonna's header goes wide. Liverpool there wearing that Minecraft kit. I actually low-key rate it. I don't mind it, but Liverpool fans don't seem to have a liking towards it. And look at Darwin Núñez just being a menace on this left-hand side, and on the wing, Klopp's getting the best out of his game. We force it out for a corner. Trying to get a set-piece opportunity in. Darwin Núñez header goes backwards. Elliott on the edge of the area. It's now Manga. Liverpool are in the clear, and Diogo Jota hits the woodwork, and the bar is still shaking. We get away with murder. And we're really playing with fire at the moment. Liverpool just allowed to enter our area, and Onana, unorthodox passes, finds its way out to Kvaratskhelia, and Benacer back to the Georgian, back to Benacer, and Nkunku is in the clear. It's Christopher Nkunku, tried to catch Alisson out at his near post, and the Brazilian forces it out for a corner. Enzo is on corner duties, searching for his 35th assist. The number 24 crossed inside. It's Nkunku, and how the hell did Alisson save that? Lightning fast reactions denies us from breaking the deadlock. Darwin Núñez now, it's a 3v1. The Uruguayan just runs forward. He's got tunnel vision, and our defender completely misses the challenge for Fofana. Now Kvaratskhelia inside to Nkunku. A lovely little link up here, and it could be right on half time. All of a sudden, it's Cavaradonna in the clear, and Chelsea's number 9 in added time for the first half gets the opener. It's been back and forth, up and down, fast-paced, high-octane football all night. Chris Nkunku provides a perfect over-the-top through ball. Alisson, who's been flawless up to this point, but Kvaratskhelia was the coolest man in the stadium and slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. A perfect one-on-one finesse shot to get him his 6th goal in the competition, potentially the most important. And it couldn't have come at a better time. Right on the buzzer, right on half time, we go into the sheds 1-0 to the good.
Finish him.
Oh, Madueke gets 2-footed from behind, and Darwin Núñez straight red off kickoff. You've got to be kidding me. I thought he, not even a word of a lie, not even a joke. I thought he was Liverpool's best player, and now he single-handedly got himself an early ice bath. Klopp is doing some shadow boxing on the sidelines. What was he thinking? He's nearly killed the man. Mo Salah, Chilwell trying to deal with him, and that's how you make a tackle. Defense still a little bit all over the place, and now it's Harvey Elliott who's kept it in play. He tried to go across goal. Fofana's block went straight to the path of Salah. We're unable to get clear. Kvaratskhelia with one of a poor defensive mishap, and Andre Onana has to swat that one away from a corner, but that could have easily been the equaliser as Klopp brings on Cody Gakpo, taking off an aging Mo Salah, and Osimhen unable to clear, but we survive another Liverpool scare, and look how open it is. Nkunku finds a perfect pass into Victor Osimhen, and for his first chance of the night, how has he hit the crossbar from there? And the woodwork said no, as Nkunku now with a perfect little touch, and Alisson again comes to Liverpool's rescue. How it's not 2-0, we will never know. Harvey Elliott's brilliant challenge for Fofana, And Cody Gakpo gets bundled off the ball by Fernandes. Kvara back inside to Victor Osimhen. And Osimhen finds Nkunku, and that'll be 2. And our boy from day dot, who has just been electric for this club. He loves playing under Poch, and he does the Diogo Jota celebration on Diogo Jota. If that's not shithousery, I don't know what is. It's liquid football, the link-up play, the chemistry, the flow, just the way the ball sticks to them like it's on a string. And our number 10 blasts it past Alisson, who's pretty much been on point tonight. Klopp's annoying shadow boxing has been kept to a minimum. And look at this 99 pace from Madueke. He just breezes by everyone. The English left footer with the delivery inside back post. Kvara. It's just too easy, man. It's just too easy. And Kavicka gets his second goal in tonight's big dance. It was a blistering run from Nodi Madueke. The Liverpool defense couldn't contain him, and at the back post, he snuck up on Alexander-Arnold like a librarian. And unlike in the first half, he converts his headed chance and gets us 3 goals to the good. You might as well start carving Chelsea's name on the trophy. We are running a masterclass. It's been a clinic from the Chelsea boys, and Liverpool have really been let down by that red card. He cuts her back, trying to find support in the middle. And can we end it off with some icing on top of the cake? Nkunku finds Benacer, and again the woodwork gets struck, and the follow-up shot was completely way off. And the referee puts Liverpool out of their misery and sends the Chelsea fans into raptures. The writing was on the wall as soon as the red card was brandished to Núñez. Klopp just refused to change his tactics. He stuck to his game plan, and we walked all over Liverpool like a training drill in the end. 3-0, really could have been 5 or 6. We took our foot off the gas, and Reece James will lift the Champions League title for this famous club. Mauricio Pochettino rights the wrongs of 2019. The Argentine completes the set. That's the treble this season, and he just adds to his never-ending trophy collection. That's the 3rd Champions League title they've claimed. Drink it in, soak it up. Lads, if you did go on to enjoy and love these new manager club rebuild specials, make sure to drop it a like down below if you made it this far. Drop a comment, tell me what team, what manager should be next. I'm thinking Nagelsmann, PSG, Zinedine Zidane for Juve. As always, my social links will be linked down in the description. I've been Sir BCHD. Have a great day. I'm going to love you and leave you. Take care, and I'll catch you all in the very next video.